Some Japanese engines stay whisper quiet past 300,000 miles. Others develop cold start rattle and ticking well before half that. Same oil, same owners who never miss a change. The difference may trace to a $2 liquid most mechanics refuse to discuss, one that cuts metal-on-metal friction by nearly 75% in lab tests. Whether that's real protection or additive mythology depends on the most destructive half-second of every drive. Every time a Japanese engine fires up, Toyota, Honda, Lexus, Subaru, Nissan, and Mazda, a silent countdown begins. Oil, thick from a cold night, sits pooled in the pan. The instant the starter turns, metal-to-metal contact rules the upper engine. Cam lobes scrape across lifters, and for a split second, nothing stands between hardened steel and a future of wear. Laboratory timing tables paint the numbers in bold. Oil pressure begins to rise in as little as 0.12 seconds, but full hydrodynamic protection, where a true oil film separates moving parts, does not arrive until 0.4 to 1 second after ignition, depending on viscosity and temperature. In that exposed window, the only thing resisting abrasion is the boundary film, a fragile layer with a friction coefficient between 0.12 and 0.18, far higher than what engineers want. This is the danger zone for any engine, no matter how well maintained. Even the best synthetic oil cannot instantly coat every cam journal and lifter face. Data from controlled bench tests show that most cam and lifter wear happens in this first half second, long before the oil light blinks off. The damage is cumulative. Each cold start, each morning commute, adds barely visible scars that can become audible ticking, startup rattle, or harshness before a car even hits 100,000 miles. For owners chasing the legendary smoothness of a Japanese 6 or the quiet idle of a VTEC 4, this is the moment that matters most. The stakes are set. How well an engine survives this brutal opening act shapes its fate for the next 100,000 miles and beyond. Inside every bottle of MoS2 additive, a hidden world of physics quietly waits to go to work. Unlike most oil additives that dissolve or react, molybdenum disulfide is made of microscopic sheets, each only a few atoms thick, stacked like pages in a book. These sheets do not just float around, they slide over each other with almost no resistance. In the language of tribology, MoS2 achieves a friction coefficient as low as 0.04 compared to 0.12 or higher, seen in untreated boundary lubrication. When the engine turns and oil splashes up, these nano-sized plates, ranging from 30 to 200 nanometers across, rush to the hottest, most stressed metal surfaces. The moment two parts make contact, the MoS2 layers flatten out and start stacking themselves on the metal, forming a solid but ultra-thin film. This lamellar film acts like a microscopic buffer, letting metal parts glide over each other rather than grind. The effect is immediate and measurable. Pin-on-disc tests show a dramatic drop in wear scar depth, and dynamometer trials reveal a rapid friction plateau within 0.3 seconds of crankshaft rotation. But not just any MoS2 will do. Particle size matters. Too large, and they can act as grit. Too small, and they disperse without forming a film. The sweet spot sits between 0.1 and 0.3% by weight, with stable dispersion in the right carrier oil. Go beyond that, and the risk of sedimentation or filter clogging rises. The film itself survives brutal pressure and heat, holding strong up to about 400 degrees Celsius before oxidation starts to break it down. For Japanese car owners thinking long-term, the science is clear. MoS2's layered structure is not just a chemical trick, it is a physical shield engineered at the atomic scale. Yet, as with any tool, the devil is in the dosing and the details. The next step is seeing how these lab results translate to the real world of daily commutes, cold starts, and high-mileage ambitions. For more evidence-based Japanese car care, subscribe to Japanese Auto Vault and keep your maintenance smarter than the myths. A bottle of MoS2 sits on the workbench, gray, unassuming, and stamped with a batch code. For owners chasing that elusive Japanese smoothness, it has become a quiet tradition. The ritual is simple. Measure out 44 milliliters for every 5 quarts of oil, pour it in at the next change, and listen for the difference. Some owners swear by the numbers. On a 2011 Subaru Outback, idle noise drops, cold starts, lose their harsh edge, and an OBD2 scan shows oil temperatures running 5 degrees cooler on the highway. Others claim a bump in miles per gallon, though the gains are modest, 1% here, 1% there. A few even run quick dyno pulls, watching for a friction cut as high as 35% in the first seconds after startup. The stories pile up: quieter revs, less ticking, engines that feel younger than their odometer. But for every smooth start, there is a lingering question. Are these changes real protection or just the sound of hope? The next step demands more than anecdotes. To separate myth from true mechanical benefit, the conversation shifts to hard diagnostics and measured results. A quiet idle can fool even the sharpest ear. Real engine health isn't just about what you hear, it's about what you can measure. That's why serious Japanese car owners keep a diagnostic toolkit close at hand. The first tool is a compression tester. A healthy Toyota or Honda 4-cylinder should show less than a 5% drop in cylinder pressure from factory spec, even after 100,000 miles. Next comes the oil analysis, specifically inductively coupled plasma slips that track iron, copper, and aluminum levels in parts per million. A sudden jump in iron or copper tells you metal is moving where it shouldn't, long before a rattle or tick gives it away. The third leg of the tripod is the bore scope. Threaded through a spark plug hole, it reveals the truth: smooth crosshatch, shiny cam lobes, or the first hint of scoring. Data from these tools builds a case that's impossible to argue with. Even a simple filter pressure drop, delta P, can warn you if agglomerated particles or sludge are restricting flow, sometimes before you see a single warning light. In the end, numbers, not noise, decide whether an engine is aging gracefully or hiding a problem beneath the surface. A real test begins with a baseline. No shortcuts, no guesswork. Start with 3 full oil drains using only your usual synthetic, spaced at the standard 7,500 kilometer interval. Document every detail: oil brand, engine hours, outside temperature, and driving style. Run compression checks and send oil samples to the lab for iron and copper analysis after each interval. Only then introduce MOS2, measuring precisely 2 grams per 4 liters of oil. Repeat the same 3 drain cycle, matching mileage and conditions as closely as possible. Every data point matters: idle noise in decibels, oil temperature, wear metals in parts per million, and compression numbers. Alternate the sequence. Some owners start with MOS2, others switch halfway to rule out seasonal or mileage effects. Keep a logbook, batch codes, and receipts. Rank your results. Did iron drop by more than 30%? Did idle decibels fall by at least 3? Was there any change in viscosity or filter pressure? This protocol isn't just for labs. Any Toyota, Honda, Lexus, Subaru, Nissan, or Mazda owner can follow it. The difference between myth and measurable benefit is a checklist away. For more data-driven Japanese car care, subscribe to Japanese Auto Vault and never let another maintenance myth cost you real engine life. Opinions on molybdenum disulfide split sharply, not just because of the science, but because evidence gets filtered or buried by the ecosystem around Japanese engines. Marketing clips promise miracle results, but hard, long-term data is rare. There is no teardown from a Toyota or Honda that shows a clear before and after with molybdenum disulfide over 200,000 miles. Instead, forums fill with glowing anecdotes, while negative or neutral stories quietly fade away. The loudest voices online are often those with something to sell, or people who have heard a single quiet startup and want to believe it is proof. Meanwhile, shops and dealers face a different pressure. Warranty manuals from Toyota, Honda, and Subaru warn that non-approved additives may affect coverage, leaving mechanics caught between customer hopes and liability risk. No service manager wants to explain to an owner why a denied claim traces back to a $2 bottle. This mix of missing data, selective storytelling, and real financial stakes keeps the debate alive and keeps most owners guessing. For those who want the truth, the only way forward is to look past the noise and demand numbers that cannot be spun. Subscribe to Japanese Auto Vault for more ownership insight you can actually use, and watch the next video before your next maintenance choice costs you real engine life. A row of numbers lines up on the shop's laptop. Cylinder compression logged before and after shows a shift down just 0.3% on average after 15,000 kilometers with MOS2 compared to a 0.7% drop on the control run. Iron levels in the oil, measured by ICP, reveal a sharper contrast: 19 parts per million iron after the additive cycle versus 28 parts per million in the baseline. The shop owner and the car's driver both pause at the screen, eyes narrowing at the data. On the spectrogram, the 2 to 4 kilohertz band, the telltale scrape of cold start drops by 4 decibels, while the higher frequencies stay unchanged. No verdict, just numbers. The facts wait, silent and unfiltered. A smaller compression loss, a 30% reduction in iron, a quieter cold start. Whether that spells real protection or just a fleeting improvement, the evidence stands on its own. Right now, the line between myth and mechanical truth remains razor thin. For Japanese car owners chasing real longevity, every maintenance choice matters more than ever. MOS2 isn't a miracle, just another piece in a puzzle most never finish. Subscribe to Japanese Auto Vault and watch the next video before your next oil change decides everything.